What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Foxhound Finance, where we analyze the stock market using technical analysis. Please understand that I'm not a financial advisor. Nothing in these videos is financial advice. Please do your own research and buy what you want to buy. All right, guys, I'm giving you an update here. It's been about 2 weeks, not 2 months, so I'm getting better in the uploads department. But I want to just break down some things with the news real quick before we jump into the TA for all the core plays. I'm going to try not to make it a 20 to 40 minute video. But it's very hard when you're trying to cover everything, and obviously it all relates to the plays that we're following. So let's just jump right into it, guys. We're going to talk about the news first, okay? December, the Fed did cut the interest rates by a quarter point. We kind of knew that was coming. It was like a 90% probability that they were going to cut rates, okay, going into the New Year's. So they stuck to their guns on that, which is obviously very good for the blueprint that we've been following. It's pretty much the COVID repeat cycle, right? Like I've been saying. And to add to that, we had the Trump address, right? And in that, again, just bags of money being thrown at us, right? We're supposed to have the highest income tax returns we've ever had, according to Trump and all of his officials, right? So we have that going for us. We had the warrior dividend announced by Trump, where active military is getting $1,700 checks. And then on top of that, we still, at some point in mid 2026, just before or after, are supposed to be getting a tariff dividend check of around $2,000. So again, this is really repeating to me the same exact recipe that COVID had when we had the $2,000 stimulus checks or whatever, and then you had the PPP loans. Just a lot of money was being injected into the market. We already covered last week that quantitative tightening is ending, right? The Fed is ending QT. So, guys, I'm just saying it's all lining up. People are asking me why I'm so bullish. Well, I'm giving you everything right here, right? And on top of this, right, we had CPI data come out, and that was 2.7% inflation. I guess the world leading economists never even seen that number coming, right? Like it was way, way under the projections. And, you can take that with a grain of salt if you believe it or not. But nonetheless, the markets are going to react to that number, okay? So we got to just take it for what it is, and we'll see how this pans out. So let's just jump into the charts here, guys. I'm going to go real quick here. I'm going to try to be highlight NFL style. So let's go to the SPY. You can see right here, fighting to break the all-time high, 687.67. Came down at these support levels. Now here on the weekly, you have this candle wicking up, which to me is showing strength, like it's going for this again. Obviously, if you break 687.67, you're on your way to the next uptrend. Could be another 30 point, 40 point run total, right? And I'm obviously seeing us in the 700s at that point, okay? Real quick for the SPY, guys, you see the EMAs resting on top of the 9. It's well above all your EMAs. It looks really, really good. It looks like it's going to continue. That's just my opinion. Whatever you believe, fine. Drop a comment down below if you think that I'm crazy, but I think that this is ready to go and break this resistance, okay, going into 2026, all right? And let's jump over to AMC. All right, here we go. We got this death channel that it's been trading in for the longest time now. You have our laser walls here all built, right? This is going to be a lot of heavy resistance, but once we break through all of this, I do think, guys, we will be off to the races, okay? Now, looking at this on the weekly, you can just see massive downside, probably due to the dilution that was passed, right? When we had the annual shareholder meeting. Could be that being used as the excuse, right, to get this terminal shakeout finished, right? And I do think that's what we're in right now. If I look at the daily, like to me, this looks like a real terminal shakeout-ish kind of setup where, they're trying to shake people out for the last drawdown. And then again, I do think we're going to reverse out of this thing, okay? With that being said, what are we looking at going forward here with AMC? So I look at my pivot point chart. I do believe I went over this last time with you guys. I said, look, I think we were somewhere around here in S1, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe it might have been even up here. But I said basically these are your points, right, of bouncing, right? These are your final support points. You do have a candle daily wicking underneath the support too. And sort of like an indecision happening right here. You can see the bodies here, and then you see the wick here touching the 173 and up. Listen, if you have another candle below this, we'll say, right? If there's another clean candle underneath this without the wick coming through it, I do think you may come down to the S3 at 153. So $1.53, and I do think after that, guys, we should reverse very, very violently off of this. in relation to some of the news with AMC, you want to talk about catalysts, right? A lot of people are very, very heavy on catalysts, which I can understand. But if we're going to go that dimension, Adam Aaron basically already said in prior interviews, and I believe in Twitter like months and months ago, about this material non-public information that he's obviously he can't share yet, but he says January, February, that's around the time frame where he thinks he's going to be able to disclose whatever he's got cooking in the background. Okay, again, take that with a grain of salt. I'm just showing you the charts, and then again what the roadmap looks like with all the news coming out. Okay, so it looks to me like we're about to hit our real true bottom, and obviously when we come back up, we want to break this trend line here. Okay, AMC has to break this descending trend line if we want to see the full reversal. Okay, it doesn't matter if we zip up here and touch it. You know, it doesn't matter. Like if this is the dollar pump, right, or whatever it is, we need to actually break this and have continuation out of it. Okay. So I want to see a V-shaped recovery, but not just to this line where we break back down again. I want to see us break through this. Okay. And again, you see your pivot points all lined up right here. EMAs, guys, this is even telling you the bear case right now for a new low is pretty strong because you're under all the EMAs, right? Your 9, your 27, all of them. So to me, it looks like terminal shakeout mode is here, and we're going to find another new bottom if this does not pop here, okay? So EMAs, and by the way, with the EMAs, 200 is sitting, I believe, at 300, not 300, 303. So $3.03 for the 200. Still well within range, guys. We're right there. I'm not really concerned about it. I just want to see where this bottom's going to be. And again, too, forward looking with all the policy changes I told you, everything looks really good. RSI wise, definitely oversold. You can see it down here as I pull this up. Right here again, I told you before, I thought we were going to go for a double bottom or a new all-time low because you saw this hook, right? This was coming back down. And again, right here, oversold. You are at 23.62. I mean, we might get the real quick flash, guys, on Monday tomorrow and then violently rebound out of it because you're already at 23.24 on the RSI. So, I mean, this is like scraping like a cement bottom, right? Digging a hole. Like there's not much more I feel like this can go to. So that is it for AMC. There's not much more, guys. All my price targets remain intact, like I've been saying, but you got to get out of here first. Before we can really start digging into the price targets, guys, when I see this all break, I will keep you up to date. But for now, there's no point in me doing that, right? Because we have not even gotten out of this yet. Things get very exciting when we get past this 556 level even, right? If we can get past this even, you have giant air pockets, okay? So that is it for AMC. There's not much more to see there. Let's go over to GME. GME, same situation, right? You have to get back in here. You have tons of resistance built in here, okay? And how this is going to look, guys, is going to depend. GME is in no critical condition, okay? It's got like $10 billion in cash, positive quarterly earnings. I don't know what else to say. Like, there's not really anything for me to be concerned with here, okay? So when I see the break through this, right, because you came right here, you came up to this gap fill, came up, got rejected right here, filling this gap, broke under my little pennant in here, really giant pennant, I should say, broke under the giant pennant, tried to come back into it, couldn't, but then in the process of that, you bottomed at 1993, and then are creating higher lows, right? You can see 1, 2, and maybe 3 if this doesn't come back down, you might break back in through here. So we'll see what that looks like for GME, but obviously, guys, look at this. EMAs are clustered up on the daily, looking really good. That's what you want to see, right, for these next giant impulse moves, right, in either direction, honestly, because they're all clustered up right there in a straight line. And pivot point wise, again, wedged right between your resistance and support lines, okay? So when you see this, there's a decision about to be happening here pretty soon, I think, and we'll see what that looks like going into the new year. But for now, we have the holiday season in the way and all that kind of stuff, so I'm not really eager for this week. But maybe this is the week we find those true bottoms, or again, for cases like GME, you get more confirmation. Maybe this breaks back in here slightly, and then we continue into the new year, right? But that's really it for GME. There's not much more to see with that one. IWM Russell 2000, you can see again right here, this giant pennant I have drawn up, right, from the previous high and low. And then again, you hit 257, poked your head outside of it, but then rejected. But then we have this green candle that formed, right? So we'll see if this is going to act as the higher low before a breakthrough of the giant pennant. If not, maybe you come back up, touch the top of it one more time, and then you may get sort of a reaction like this. Let me just draw it up for you. Come up here, touch it, and then you may fall down to this line and then get the full burst out right here. Okay, so just keep that in mind. That is definitely on the table, but we have to see what it looks like until we actually break out of the pennant. Okay, so I'm not really like gung-ho about this yet until I see that, right? One little green candle is not having me sent into a super bullish sense until we break key levels. Just like with AMC, we have to break certain levels, guys, before I get excited and we're really off to the races. But nonetheless, we have seen it in the past where sometimes these violent moves happen like very, very quickly out of nowhere. News could drop that just, is the front and center for the move. We've already seen that stuff before. When I'm looking at the resistance R1, R2, R3, you have to get through this, right? And this setup looks really good because you're above the pivot point line. So we're 50-50 right now to see if we break out of this thing, okay? So let's stand by on that. EMA-wise, you're above all the bands, right? Everything really bullish position on the technical. So that is your IWM, which is obviously where GME and the AMC situation is currently basket, where they're held in, right, in that basket. Looking at NEO real quick. Let's go to the weekly real fast. Look at my prior videos, guys. I don't want to have to break this whole structure down again, but basically this IPO, right, where NEO came into the market, descended all the way down to $1.19 before rebounding out and then having this giant melt up. You had this sort of pattern play out, right? That's what I'm trying to say here. I'm kind of like, I'm zipping through this real quick. But yes, you had this pattern here playing out, and I do believe this is where NEO's at right now. Okay, if you look over here, right, present day, and the structure, right, if I break this down like this, right, you see the dissension down, right, all the way to $3 over here. Over here is $1.19, but in the new pattern, it's much larger, right? And I told you I do expect much larger upside moves then. And here you go. You have NEO right here fulfilling this sort of N type shape. And if I see this right here, guys, this little trickling uptrend, I know we're on point with this sequence here. Okay, so stand by on that one. We need several more days, right? Possibly a couple weeks to see how this plays out over here. Because again, this pattern is much bigger. So we'll keep that on pause. But I'm telling you right now, if we see that trickle effect up and it exceeds this high and you start getting these candles, you're going to see NEO probably melt up for the rest of the year, right? I think NEO will just continue to do something very similar to this move right here, and that's going to be pretty scary. So for now, let's just focus on the present, but lots of potential with this one. If this move is similar and you're going to break out of here, these are your zones, like I said, in the immediate sense to break, okay? Real quick, pivot points right there and smack dab in the middle, slightly underneath of it, but you may find support on any of my support lines right here before that uptrend happens, right? EMA-wise, all clustered up in position for the takeoff. Really nothing to break down here, guys, but this is what I want to see in these setups, okay? We go to Rivn, absolutely looking absurd. This thing is crazy good. Again, people in my comments, this is why I'm bullish, because I see these structures happening. They're breaking. Had the trap here, right, of the top of the ceiling, right, for this little wedge in here. And you bounced on the support, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low before breaking out. If I go to the daily, you will see a nice clean Wyckofian retest on top of the wedge right here. Candle wicked way up. Nice uptrend. Rejected at the first sign of resistance. Came down, but not much. And then broke through it, right? Just zigzagging your way right up in here, right? Or I should say stair-stepping, not zigzagging. Stair-stepping your way back up here. Two huge bullish candles for Rivn, guys. It looks crazy. 2264. I've been calling this since last February with Rivn. I told you that this was going to be nuts, this move, and it is already jumping inside these air pockets, okay? What are we looking at for Rivn going forward? Well, you're already at R2. R3 and my 2465 resistance is sitting right here. I do expect once you get up here, you will probably reject off. You'll come all the way back down. Let me just draw this for you real quick. It's going to look something like this, I think. You might get a little push through it, but then I think you come back down into these levels here, okay, before you go and attack the next level right here, okay? So that's pretty much how this is going to work going forward, guys. I do think that the continued higher lows are going to be happening here, right? 1, 2, we'll say this region 3. And I think obviously that would put you at the 4th higher low right here. and it will just continue, right off these lines, these resistance lines, before we start filling those ginormous air pockets that I've been talking about for the longest time now, right? All these levels that I have drawn up. And as we get closer, I will start updating our newest lines up here. But look at this. I mean, you're almost out of the box that I talked about so frequently on this channel right here. This ginormous resistance box down here, guys. Once you get out of here, things get crazy. You start having huge gap ups, okay? The Rivn looks phenomenal. Real quick with the EMAs. I mean, look, even on a weekly, the EMAs are just disgusting. This thing's ready to melt up. That's just what I'm seeing. I can't explain it any other way. Right here, you're already melting up over all your EMAs. They're all curling to the upside. Rivn, like I said, will continue going to the upside. I do not see Rivn breaking down. It is pretty much over. There's no downside. And if there is downside, it will be a new higher low. That's what I'm seeing. Let's finish it off with Unity, guys, real quick. Again, beautiful setup with Unity. Just testing its support resistances, doing its thing, right? If I go to the weekly, look at this. Again, very, very similar to Rivn structure. It is respecting this upward support trend line. And again, look at the final two resistances that Unity has to break out, guys. Look at the air pocket in here, okay? So we go back to the daily. We look at what we just saw. And again, this uptrend just continuing. You got support here, a nice little bounce. We will see if Unity can break through the 5013 level that I have right here. Pivot point wise says that should be the case, right? As you're approaching resistance 1, you might get up to R3, maybe even a touch past it. Maybe you get a nice push through this. Let me just draw this real quickly for you guys. You might get a nice push out of here, come up to this level just like Rivn. Okay, guys, it's not rocket science. You come up here, you reject, cool down, and I do believe right in here, guys, will be your bounce zone before pushing through the next time, right? So it's just a ping pong, right? Back and forth. And then you get out of here, okay? And after that move, guys, you're probably going to my 109 target. When Unity breaks out of these two resistance right here, after it's done dancing around, you're going to have a huge push to the 110. All right, that's just me. I mean, look at the indicators that I'm seeing EMA-wise right above it. I mean, using them as supports now, this uptrend is going to continue, in my opinion. I don't see it any other way. So that's really it, guys. That's all I can say. I mean, everything is looking in position. There's not much else I can really show you here until we get out of these certain levels, okay? So I hope you guys just chill out for your holidays. You don't need to watch this stuff every day. The only way you really do, guys, if you start getting like real impulse moves like January 2021, then obviously you're going to know that. You know, especially if you clear these ranges within like a day or two, right? That's when we know we're pretty much in that full squeeze mode. So for now, you just pay attention to these levels in between. And if it's going to be a slow ride up, well, then you kind of know what to expect. But if not, and you see impulsive moves back to back to back days, obviously it's time to pay attention. But there's no point in watching little candles every day here, right? Because technically they could just keep it going inside this entire little wedge here for a while, for AMC anyway. And obviously the other plays too. But some plays are moving faster than others, all right? I'll keep you guys up to date. Have a good holiday. Have a good new year. And I'll give you guys another update. Probably I'll try after this week if I can get it in. I may be too busy, but I'll do my best, okay, in case anything major happens. If not, then I'm not going to upload. Like I said before, there's no point. So you guys have a good one. I will see you in the next video.